What's up, world? What's going on? It's your main man, the author. Right back at that ass again. Here's another one. What's going on, y'all? I just want to make this brief video, man. I saw this footage, man, of this. Maybe some of you have too. Saw footage of the black female in McDonald's who got jacked up by the white dude. I don't think she wouldn't let him talk, so he went ahead and just jacked her up, and they made it seem like the black girl. I mean, she threw some punches. They made it seem like she whooped the white dude's ass, but if you really look at the footage, she missed most of her punches. Most of the punches thrown, she missed those shits. Cause I guess she was just missing and shit. Then at the end, I don't know what this was, but she was trying to hit his arm, I guess, when she was punching down and dude was pulling her back. She was pulling back. Anyway, but make a long story short, it's just more evidence, man. I made videos about this before, man. How in the hell do black women think that white men are gonna save them, man, in terms of marrying them and living happily ever after with white men can't stand y'all, man. They can't, man. And I'm not saying they love the black men, but we know where we stand. Y'all think y'all gonna go off with these dudes? Black dudes ain't marrying you, and you think white dudes gonna marry? How do you expect for them to put up with the attitude that even we can't put up with, being in a submissive position in terms of socioeconomic, political, education, sex, war, all the major 8 categories? How do you expect for these? And you got to figure too, most white men, whether they want to admit it or not, they have a superiority complex. Okay, and I don't think it's all their fault, but they have to take responsibility. But it's not all their fault. I mean, you got the superhero, all your superheroes, and with the superhero comics, when they make them into movies, Superman, white, Batman, white, Aquaman, white, you name it, man. Almost all of the major superheroes, Wolverine, white, Professor X, white. At least when they make them in the movies, even in the comics. So, it's that superiority complex, man. Superman was able to reverse time. And then they had Batman beat Superman. But, I mean, it's a superiority complex, man. All your superheroes. Even with, you have Wonder Woman and stuff like that, too. But even your average homeless white man is going to feel like he deserves a lot of respect. Especially when it comes to other non-white groups. So, how can he take? And I made a video about this before back in the and I was talking about when I wrote my paper. My thesis was based on back in the 1800s when white men white men ran into domestic issues back in the day. The Napoleonic law said that a white man could go up to the point of death in order to defend his position in the family, meaning in order to maintain, if in other words, if his family bucked, i.e. didn't listen to his commands, he could just chop their head off, man, and he wouldn't have to worry about doing any time. His own white woman, he could just, it was white women dying left and right, man. That's why I think you had the first wave of feminism, because you had white men, if they were pissed, Britain had the same type of law with the rule of thumb, man. White men could legally beat the shit out of their wives, man. Kill them, and the kids too, if need be. I think I mentioned that. I mentioned that. I think in one of my videos I talked about John Walsh when he was looking for that white preacher who just out of the blue, man. He had a wife and 5 kids, and he killed everybody in the house with a shotgun. And the the police were looking for him. John Walsh came out with America's Most Wanted in the late 80s due to the decapitation of his son. And they finally found this dude, man. They put him on Most Wanted a few times. They finally found him. He was living in a small community, and he was a preacher. Before when he committed the murders, he was a preacher. And they finally found him, and he was with another family. He had like about 3 or 4 more kids. He was a preacher in that community. He had another wife, and he was much older, of course. And the community members was like, you would have never thought that he would have done that. And then that's how it was 100 years ago. That's how it was. You know, a white man killed his family. He just moved on. Now that's with white women. Now you imagine how is he going to deal with black women who have the most smartest mouths? Because that's what made the white dude snap. Because he was talking. I guess it was about over an order or something at McDonald's. He was talking and she was talking at the same time. And that's what a lot of black females would do that. A lot of female. Now don't get me wrong. A lot of females in general, their attitudes are poor, especially in the West, specifically in the USA. Right? Feminism has got females just way out of their position, man. They just totally out of pocket, so to speak. There are a lot of females who are rude, disrespectful, right? But if you go down that hierarchy line, man, the lowest woman on the totem pole in terms of socioeconomic wealth is going to be your African American woman or black women, you know, worldwide. Even your Caribbeans and in Jamaica and all those sorts of various places, because a lot of females in Jamaica and Africa are no different from the African American female in the U.S. A lot of Caribbean men want to make it seem like they are, but no. A lot of the females in Jamaica, they're the biggest purchasers of skin bleaching cream. And even the females in Africa go through the trash in order to find weave. They put weaves in their head too, man. But anyway, yeah. So she got into it with the white dude, and he was talking. She was talking, trying to talk over him. And what was his first instinct? If you saw the video, he grabs her, right? Pulls her across the counter because it was just the first instinct. He snapped because he was pissed. And she swung. She almost came across the counter because she wasn't that big. And she swung about 10 blows or 10 punches. She was swinging real wild, but she had her fist balled up. I think she managed to hit him in the jaw 2 times, but she swung about 11 punches, and she missed about 9 of them. I don't know why people say that are saying that she destroyed the guy. She only hit him a couple times, man. And those were love taps. She didn't really have power on the shots because she was so small. But my point is, and I think the story was on The View, and Whoopi Goldberg was talking about it, and she was talking about how usually she doesn't like to see violence, but in that case, she feels like the violence was justified because she didn't like how the white dude, she couldn't say white man because she's on The View, but she didn't like how the man, was aggressive towards the woman. And of course, she would say that because she played Celie in The Color Purple. So that was one of the movies that spawned, that helped push that feminist agenda. So of course she would say that, right? And another female on The View was talking about she doesn't understand why more men didn't help or do more to help where the guy actually tried to pull her off or pull her away from the white man. But the other female on The View says she doesn't understand why more of the men didn't take an active role or do more to try to help the female. And and I think white, the color barrier could have something to do with it. I mean, a lot of these kids in the streets, man, the ones that are killing each other in the streets in Chicago and these inner city places, a lot of times when it comes to trying to touch white people, or when it comes to trying to kill another racial group, they can't do it, right? So they're trained just to destroy each other. But to not even get that deep into the complexities of the thought process. Maybe a lot of those guys in there have been disrespected by her as well. And they was glad to see somebody finally snatch her up, man. Because she looked like a young girl, probably in her teens, early 20s. And then someone on The View said that she had a baby a few months before, and everyone said, "Oh," and like it ain't nothing cute about that, man. She's about 19, looked like probably 20 years old, man. Had a weave, bad attitude, you know, and it just boggles my mind how a lot of females on the internet are talking about white men being their salvation in terms of, oh, I don't date black guys anymore. I'm gonna date white men and X, Y, Z, and the third. That's fine because a lot of brothers have threw in the towel, man, in terms of dating black women as well. It happened in the 80s. More black men, if you look at the statistics, more black men are twice as likely to step outside of the race in terms of dating than black women, and that number's on the rise. I think black men I think 20% of black men are willing to step outside, where I think 10% of black women are willing to step outside the race, and for black men, that's been on the rise since the 80s. Hence, when The Color Purple came out, hence, after the 70s revolution, when they start making the movies to support feminism, you see how this all kind of connects? Connect 1, 2, 3, 4, connect 4. You see how it connects? Okay. So the black men going outside of the relationship, the numbers have, it started in the 80s and the numbers have jumped since then, right? And like I said, I mean, maybe that could be because of outer influences in the media, but maybe it's because of how brothers are being treated, man. And to look at something like that as an example of black females feeling like, since only about 26% of black females are married, only about 26%, them thinking that white men are gonna make up that slack and help raise their marriage levels to a substantial amount is just it's hysterical. It's a joke, man. That's a bad joke. That's a joke, man. White man, how can a white man with a superiority complex put up with mouth from a racial group that has been historically kicked around by his people for the past 500 years? How is he going? I mean, like I said, the average white man walking the streets, man, has a superiority complex. I've had white male cab drivers disagree with me when I was in grad school, talking about shit that they had no idea what they were talking about, but he felt that he should just be right. How in God's name? Like I said before, most black females who do manage to get with white guys are just going to be used as sexual objects, or the guys that they do get are going to be the poor white trash, and even some of them ain't going to marry you. Even some of the poor white guys are not going to marry you, man. I mean, they may have a relationship with you, like my mother, for example. She was with a white guy for almost 30 years, man. They never moved in together. Come to find out, I think he was a white Jewish guy. And she was telling me about how when she was a kid, there was she lived in a predominantly black community, right? And the business up the street, most of the, especially back in the 60s, man, you have a black community, but your biggest businesses was owned by the Jews or the white Jewish people, right? I think it was pretty similar, the same thing in Germany back in the day, where reason why they had World War II, because Hitler was pissed because I think he said 40%. It was a large. It was unemployment for Germans was about 40%. I mean, in the recession and the Great Depression in the U.S., unemployment was about 25%, but in Germany it was 40%. So almost half of the population was homeless, right? But the most of the businesses in Germany was owned by white Jewish families, right? Same thing in the U.S. So the business up the street from where they live, because they lived, I think my mother grew up pretty much in a ghetto, right? The house not too far from the projects in that area, right? And she said one of the most profitable businesses, excuse me, in that community was a Jewish shop. Well, years later, she ended up dating a guy. Didn't even know, but she looking back on her life. Years later, she dated a guy who that was his family's shop, but he was a poor Jewish white guy. And I asked her, I said, well, shit, the guy you were dating, the white Jewish dude, I said, shit, I said, he didn't have a pot to piss in. I called him on my phone one day because they had cut his off when he was visiting my mother. He was on my phone because my phone was on, his was off. I was like, man, he wasn't shit. I said, why? If his family owned that shop, why he ain't had shit? Oh, she said, well, that part of the family disowned his part of the family years ago. He said that's how other powerful family groups in this country work. If you a white Jewish person and you ain't doing shit, you ain't gonna live off of the group that is, going upward, the most profitable family. You're not gonna live off that family if you ain't doing shit. They're gonna disown you. See, a lot of the black community, we embrace our losers, the drug dealers, the pimps, the hugs. We embrace our losers. Other groups, they do the opposite. Like I said, if I have a family, I'm a white Jewish man, and I have a family and we run a shop. The other relatives, if my brother ain't doing shit, he's white Jewish. Guess what? He is disowned. He's selling crack, and guess what? He is disowned. Okay, there's no excuse for him. He just want to sit around and shit. Guess what? Yeah, he is disowned. They disowned his sorry ass. So she was dating a white dude for 30 years that was disowned by that successful Jewish family, and he still didn't want to marry her. And he was a third-rate white boy. And that's gonna happen to most of these black females, man. And in her case, at least, the white dude did stick around for a while, even though they never, he never tried to marry my mother or anything like that. They didn't move in together. But most of these other black females, they're not even gonna be able to have a relationship at all with a white dude. It ain't probably gonna go past one night. I mean, for real, man. I mean and that's how that. And they don't. I don't think most black females even have a clue about what they're talking about when they say they're gonna step out and get with white men. You have no idea how that situation, how that dichotomy even works, man. Y'all ain't gonna make it. They're not gonna raise your marriage rates. They're not gonna marry you. Now, in most cases, now, like I said before in my previous videos, a lot of the black females, the few who do end up having successful marriages with prominent white men, are the black females who were raised around white people pretty much their whole lives. They went to white elementary school, they went to white high schools, they grew up in a white neighborhood. They were the one or two blacks that the white neighbors knew. All right, and they never speak out of turn. They never mention racism. Nothing. They're not for taking a knee. They none of that shit. You know, they're more pro American or pro white than anyone, man. They don't subscribe to any of that shit. The Black Lives Matter, nothing. They just live their life, man. So I don't understand how, especially like a lot of these hood females with the weave. You think you're gonna go off with white dudes? I can see if you said another racial group, because even Puerto Ricans are gonna have a hard time. But I mean, the white men, nah, man, he can't. I didn't seen a video where you had a white policeman. He pulled up in a McDonald's or Burger King drive-through, and some fat black female was mouthing off. He got so mad, he got out of his cruiser. He pulled around because she was talking shit in the drive-through. He pulled around, parked his shit. Next thing you know, and this was on camera. He came back and he came in that McDonald's, went to the back where she was on the register, grabbed her by her hair and pulled her out that motherfucker. It was right on camera. Now I heard it was a lawsuit and she got some money for that. But I think 30 or 40 grand from what I heard. But yeah, they had a bunch of skits where they show white men just whooping the shit. One dude, he pepper sprayed the shit out of this black female because she thought she was a white girl. A lot of these black females have that white girl. They think they white chicks because they can change the octaves of their voice. Yeah, yeah. No, those white cops did not look at you like that. She thought she could play around because the white cop was trying to arrest her, and she fucked around. She bit him because she kept whining like, "No, no, I didn't do anything, no." Like she was a white girl, right? And then she bit him. That white cop punched her in the face twice and then pepper sprayed her. He pepper sprayed the shit out of her, and then put her hands behind her back, cuffed her, and threw her ass in the back of the cruiser. So my eyes, she said, I can't see, I can't feel my eyes. Like dog, you you are not. It's not gonna work that way, black woman. Most of y'all are not gonna get married by white Tom Cruise looking motherfucker. It's not gonna happen, man. It's not gonna happen, man. You just gotta accept that shit. Cause I like I said, I don't know how they gonna tolerate. I mean, you piss off black men with that attitude. A white man who already has a superiority complex, he gonna take that shit? I doubt it, man. But I just want to make this brief video, man. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like, subscribe. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Hope you enjoyed your holiday. Y'all stay safe out there, all right? It's your boy, or your main man, I should say, the author, signing out.